So verse 24, the 14th chapter, the Gospel of Matthew. We have the aftermath of feeding the 5,000. Jesus has coerced the disciples into going ahead of him across the Sea of Galilee. Now some time has passed. Jesus, Matthew tells us in the preceding verse, has been praying. And several hours have passed, apparently, and so now we have the drama that's unfolding in the middle of the night here. So we have to, this is the neuter article, postpositive but the then ploio, neuter noun, means boat, usually applied to a smaller watercraft, not a ship, not a larger one, but apparently it was big enough to accommodate the disciples. But the boat, a day, a declinable adverb, means already. Stadius, this is the word for stadia. Polus stadius is going to suggest probably 2 or 3 miles. They were out in the middle. That's the report that we get from other sources, especially Mark. So they're on their way, but they've been trapped now by a storm, as Matthew reports it. So we have, at this point, the boat was many stadia from the shore. This is apo, the preposition. Takes the genitive tes, the feminine singular genitive article with geis, the word for shore or land. Geis, of course, just means earth or land. It's the word from which you get the word geo. Unfortunately, in the book of Revelation, it's often translated as earth, and people immediately think of the globe, when that, in fact, is not at all the sense of the word. It's just the earth as in land as opposed to sea or something like that. And so the idea is here there were many stadia from the land. Apekane, this is from apekomai, middle form of the word echo, to have one for oneself. The ap adds a little bit of additional force to it, and so having, and then what it's having here is expressed in terms of a participle. So we have basanidzo menon. This is from basanidzo, derived from the word that means the foot, as in basis. Different word than the one normally used, but can be used, and especially was used in terms of the foot being an instrument of torture, and that's the sense of it. So it was being tortured, it was having, akane, having torture, as if the boat itself were being tortured, is the idea. Hupo, preposition with the genitive, means by. Tone, komatone, word koma means waves. Or kuma, I should say, means waves. This is the genitive, so the boat is being tortured by the waves, is the way that Matthew expresses it, somewhat personifying the boat here. Of course, the disciples themselves are being tortured at the same time. Ain, from ame, I am, this is third person singular imperfect, active indicative, it was. And then gar, postpositive, enantios. The root of this, you'll notice, is anti, which means against. Its fundamental meaning is in place of, as in Antichrist would be the one in place of Christ, the replacement for Christ, but it can mean, and does mean in a secondary sense, anti as against, which is, of course, the way we primarily use it in English. This is in antio, so it's an adjective. It means contrary, and contrary sort of in your face. You know, the N here is a little bit more forceful. So, for it was contrary, ho anemos, the wind. The wind, anemos, is the idea to suggest life. Animal, of course, comes from that, the idea of a living thing, the wind, the breath, that sort of deal. And so it's suggested here that the wind was opposing them, was contrary to them, and now they're out there in the middle. And of course Jesus has stayed behind, apparently skipping this trauma, which is bothering them, and so now we're going to have the drama that unfolds as Jesus is going to come to them in the midst of this stormy, threatening situation.